Baruch. Good morning, Morai v'Rabotai. Be'ezrat Hashem Mincha is going to be this week 7:50. Please be on time. Hayom Hamisha ve'arba'im yom la'omer Shem Shisha Shavuot u'shlosha yamim is the question that we mentioned yesterday about the contradiction in the two halachot, which is actually on Friday. We mentioned that there was one halacha where a person is allowed to close the door. If there is wind coming in, he's closing the door, and even though he knows that what's going to happen is the flame of the fireplace, for example, is going to diminish. Why? Because the wind was actually giving it a lot more oxygen and it was becoming a lot bigger. So when he closes the door, the flame diminishes. And in a certain sense, you could say he's indirectly causing the fire to decrease. And we said that we don't say that. It's mutar to do. And we call this davar hamesir hamonea. It's better than a girama. It's better than an indirect action, and it is allowed to be done. But then we asked, but wait a second, there's a case in the Shulchan Aruch where you're not allowed to cover the oven, which is called the tanur, where there's a big pot that has coals inside of it. You're not allowed to cover it because you're suffocating the coals and thereby extinguishing the coals. So what's the difference between the two cases? And very similar, there's a third case that you're not allowed to take from the oil of a fire and use it because that is called extinguishing, since you're taking from the oil itself, which that sounds very similar to the case of the wind. Why is one allowed, one not allowed? So the answer to this question is brought down in the Minchat Yitzhak. He says there's such a thing called hayut ha'ish, what the fire needs for its existence. There's like an existential, it's the definition of a fire consists more than just a flame. It consists of the wood, and it consists of the fuel that is necessary and the oxygen that is necessary. As opposed to the wind. Wind is something external to the fire. It's not the essence of what a fire is. Therefore, when a person does an action to what is defined as the fire, the oxygen that it needs to breathe, he does an action by covering the pot, he's removing, suffocating the oxygen of it. That is called a direct action on the fire. The same thing when he takes from the oil, he's doing an action on the ish itself, because part of the ish is the oil. Its existence depends on the oil. Its existence of a flame does not depend on the wind. And therefore, when he removes the wind, it is viewed as removing something external to the fire, and therefore it is mesira monea, and has a different type of definition and category in halacha versus somebody who does an action to what is defined as the fire. So the ingredients of the fire is the flame, the fuel, and the oxygen. When you do an action to any of those things to deprive it of that, it is called an action on the fire, and it's called extinguishing. When you do something external to that, i.e. the wind, it is not viewed as extinguishing, it is viewed as causing that the thing that was empowering the fire to be removed. And therefore that is mutar, and this is asur. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.